Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Sophisticakes by Mary. This video is a cake that I did at work, and I wanted to show you how I made this fairly simple textured watercolor cake with some gold accents. I started with a 3-layered, I believe this was an 8 or 9-inch chocolate cake that we filled with a chocolate ganache that I added some mint extract to just get it nice and smooth, and then I did a layer of buttercream on top of that ganache. And since the ganache is on the softer side until it firms up, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't blending the buttercream in with the ganache, so I thought piping it on top would make that easier and just smooth out the very top. Then I added some mini chocolate chips to the top of that. Now just keep layering up, do the same thing throughout. And I'm using a very thickened dam so that that ganache does not spill out. And a thickened dam just means my regular buttercream with some extra powdered sugar. Now that top layer looked like it was bigger than the other ones, but it wasn't. It was just off center. And since I have a fairly thick filling in this cake, the dammed area is a little wider than normal, so I went back in and I pushed in some more of that thickened buttercream to make sure that there was no bulging on the sides and nothing would come out. There's nothing I hate more than a bulge in the cake. I cannot stand that. So a thickened buttercream is the best way that I have found to prevent that from happening. Now I went ahead and I did a thin crumb coat over the entire cake. Now this part, the crumb coating and the frosting layers, I actually sped up quite a bit because that can get a little monotonous to watch. But yeah, I went ahead and I scraped off the excess and pulled it in towards the center. And I always use rolled up tape underneath my cake to attach it to the display board instead of buttercream. I just find that that keeps it from sliding it around. Nothing like chasing your cake on your board. That is annoying, so just the tape works better for that. And then I'm putting on a thicker layer of buttercream using my longer spatula. And this is a straight spatula. I find it a little easier to do my sides if I use a longer spatula. And of course, I just lied. And I switched to the smaller offset because of the height of this cake. I was getting my knuckles in the buttercream. I am remembering that now. So an offset spatula keeps your knuckles out of the buttercream. Now smooth it out as best as you can. And since you're going to have a technique on top of the buttercream, if it's not perfectly smooth, it's okay because you're not going to really see it. You worry more about the top, I'd say, third of it. That's where you're going to see the white more. And fill in any holes that you find as you are smoothing out your buttercream. When you're smoothing out your buttercream is where you're going to find that there's any air bubbles. And sometimes you end up exposing an air bubble when you're smoothing it. So you just need to go back in and fill that back up with buttercream. And again, pulling the outside corner in towards the middle to smooth out the top. There's a lot of cleaning off of my scrapers. You save yourself a lot of trouble if you just make sure that your scraper or your spatula is as clean as you can have it while you're smoothing it out. Now these are the colors that I'm using to do the textured watercolor. It's a navy blue and then just white. And I'm just putting on a little bit of buttercream on the spatula. I don't want to have so much. I want it to be textured but not thick. It's kind of along the same idea as the palette knife buttercream flowers that are popular really right now, which I have not tackled yet. That's on my bucket list, my to-do list of things I want to do. But as I'm pulling it, when I first put the spatula down, you have a thicker edge to the side, and as you pull it, you pull the extra buttercream off. And it can be a little on the messier side. That's okay. That's kind of the idea of this cake, is to not have it be too clean. maybe clean is not the word, but not so structured and perfectly smooth. And just as you're going, just see what looks right to you. You can always add more. So start with less and go back and add more if you're finding that you have some bare spots or you're just not liking the way it's looking in a certain spot. And this is one of those times when you don't need your palette knife to be clean. You just don't want too much buttercream on it. And here I'm going in with the white. I wanted to do the white on top so that if I had too dark of sections, I could go back in and lighten it up. Also, when you mix white with the blue, you get some lighter shades of blue sometimes. And in general, with colors on cakes or flowers or anything where you're adding more than one thing, odd numbers seem to be better. So if you're mixing the white with the darker blue, you get a lighter blue. So that is 3 different colors. And I did not mind if they kind of melded into each other. Now I'm going to do a gold splatter where I'm actually going to flick the gold on the cake to get some kind of lines and then some dots. And I'm just using the bristles on this brush are about maybe 1/2 inch long. And I'm dipping it into my mixture of gold luster dust with Everclear. It's a thinner mixture this time so that you can flick it. And just randomly throw it at the cake. Just throw it at the cake. Get your frustrations out. You can clean up the wall later. Actually, at work, it was the window. And I literally went in and had to clean off the window. Don't tell my boss. And I didn't want to go too crazy with the splatter. I just wanted a kind of an accent of it. I swear to goodness, the lighting at work is perfect for these videos. I am sorry that my lighting at home, when I'm doing my videos here, is not this good. I just have a dark kitchen. Here, it's all natural light, and it's fantastic. And I wanted to have kind of a little accent spot on this cake. So I went in with a more bristle brush and basically just tapped it on. Stipple would be a good word. I kind of stippled it in that one spot, and I brought it on down onto the cake board also. In hindsight, there's always a hindsight with me on a video, isn't there? I kind of wish I had covered the board with white fondant to do this, but it was fine. It's just one of those details that bother you later that you wish you could go back and change. But you know what? The customer, because this cake was actually for a customer, they don't know any different. They're fine. And I really do like that accent spot. So for the top, for bordering out the top, I used a 1M tip, my favorite tip. It's so many multiple uses with this tip. And these are almost rosettes. I guess I would call them rosettes, but I wanted them to be kind of slightly at an angle without being on top of each other. So when I started the buttercream like you saw right there, I let it build up before I did the rest of the turn. My hands are clean. Before I did the rest of the turn for the rosette, so that it would have a raised edge. And other than that, this is a fairly simple cake. Not a whole lot of extra details to this one. I'm not sure if my boss went in and put flowers on later. I don't think this order required that. Sometimes the orders that I do at work, I don't actually do the final touches myself, so I have to go with pictures later. So there you go, guys. I hope you give this cake a try, and if you do, please send me some videos. I would like to see or pictures. I'd like to see what you guys come up with. So thanks for watching this tutorial. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.